the first thoughts were, for instance, once we found that the alpha brain frequency was the strongest of the three major frequencies, 5, 10, and 20, we figured that if we could get students to listen or learn their lesson at 10 cycles instead of 20, would it help? We figured that since there's more energy here, we should make stronger impressions on brain neurons and easy to recall this information strongly impressed. Now, when you impress information with less energy, weakly done, very faintly done, chances are you forget it. Now, that was our original thoughts here. So the first experiments, before we came out into the field, as you know, we came out into the field to test the system with the open public in 1966. By late 1969, we were saturating all major cities with regular scheduling of teaching our method because people wanted more. We came out of 1969, 1970 into other states, and now we are in every state, including Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Guam, and in 72 other nations, teaching the training, the system in 17 languages now. You see how it has expanded? And the reason for it, because people want more and more, because it does work. So the first thing that we had to prove, above all, especially in the area of education, scientifically done, scientists to begin with were criticizing us that there's no way you can control brain waves. That the only time you can produce the alpha is in a state of reverie, meaning a non-thinking state, okay? A relaxed mind, non-thinking mind, like in deep meditation, passive meditation. Well, we were saying, no, you can learn to activate your mind and still function in that dimension. Well, they were not accepting it. They were calling us all kinds of names. We're crazy, we don't know what we're talking about, we're not scientists. Where do we come from? Little Laredo, and this Chicano, whatever they call us, you know, Hispanic or Mexican, whatever, because we were born here with parents being Mexicans and so forth. And at the time, there was no university in Laredo. Mm-hmm. Luckily, we had high schools. So then they were saying this, no way. Until finally, we had to go to a university and make arrangements with the scientists in charge of the psychophysiology labs and to do a project for us to prove that we were right. Because these other scientists were calling us all kinds of names. One name, pet name that they used to mention is psychoceramic, meaning crackpots in their language, you know. They're calling us, we're crackpots. Well, okay. So we took it to this lab, and sure enough, this individual said, the scientists, the top scientists of this department, he said, Mr. Silva, you know what you're asking for? You're asking to run a project that maybe will destroy your concepts, because you could be wrong, you know. You only think you're right. But if you're so sure that you're correct, we'll run it. Because not only can we prove that you're right, but we'll back it up scientifically. But again, we can back up scientifically that you're wrong, you see. You could go either way, or you're willing to risk it. And I said, I'm so sure of these results that I'm willing to risk it. Well, okay. At the end of the project, we selected some medical students, 50 medical students, in a certain class in school, university medical school, and then we pre-tested them with a battery of psychological and parapsychological tests to be able to put numbers on their mental faculties, find a baseline, so to speak. And then we trained them at the university, and at the end of the training, we again used the same battery of psychological and parapsychological tests, and all the numbers changed completely. It's as though we took that individual out and put another in his place. I mean, they were so amazed to see this happening. The scientists were unbelievable. And then a paper was written, scientific work was written, and it was published in a scientific journal in England, that we were correcting what we were saying. From that day on, the scientists that were criticizing us didn't criticize us anymore. They thought they were right. They lost faith, you know. So now they are not interested, or at least wanting to criticize again, because we could be right again, since they don't know what we're doing, you see. So that was the first scientific proof that we could control our brain waves. And this is what we have done with children now. And since the alpha is the strongest, and we have trained children, we have trained full schools completely. The faculty and all, the biggest that we have trained is in Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Hallahan Project, 2,000 schoolgirls. The school was closed down for a whole week. We brought in all of our top instructors into school, and we trained 2,000 schoolgirls in 1 week. And they were pre-tested and post-tested. And tremendous benefits were achieved after the post-testing. And from there on, we tested them again. Like in some other school, we've tested every 6 months, and it keeps on increasing, improving. Their faculties, the grade point average keep on increasing after the training has been done. And with more practice, they're getting better and better. So actually, for children, I mean, we wish in one of these days, this system that we have will be incorporated in the educational system to train all students from kindergarten to universities, to medical universities, chiropractic universities, to all levels of engineering and so forth, so that everybody will be using or develop the use of both brain hemispheres with our system. We're willing to cooperate with these people, and we have offered it to them, and we're ready for them to take the next step. We're ready there to supply their needs and help them accomplish this. There's no clean-cut division of humanity or profession that we can say these people need it more than anybody else. Everybody needs it. Keep in mind that if we improve the functioning of the mind, we improve humankind in every area, at any age. This is the most important faculty that we have, the use of our minds in anything. Mind is a common denominator. You can apply it in everything. So some come because, you take for instance, there's a company, a factory, that employs so many students. The owner, the chairman, took the training. He thought so much about it that now in his application forms for employment, he's asking, are you a mind control graduate? And you say yes, and in what area, how many courses you've taken, and in what areas you've developed the most. They want to know. Now, if not, they say, okay, if you're not a mind control graduate, and you have these qualities that we like about you, we would like you to be one of our employees, we tell you what, you take mind control and we'll hire you. And they even pay for them. If they don't accept it, they don't employ them. I mean, this man is so convinced that all his employees should be geniuses, should be using both brain hemispheres. That's what that means. That's another term, a common lay term used for that instead of genius. They're called clairvoyants. You see, a person who uses the right brain hemisphere along with the left one is called a clairvoyant. At first, clairvoyants were thought to be people who would see things very clearly. Well, now we know that it's a general perception type of thing. There's more than one sense participating at one time. Clearly feeling, clearly knowing, clearly sensing, clearly hearing, clearly everything. All combined is a function of a clairvoyant. So everybody should be clairvoyants from now on. Notice what has happened now in the medical field. When we start lecturing in the first introductory lecture in a new city, a new nation or whatever, we tell doctors, medical doctors, especially medical doctors, you know, we like to emphasize this area for them. If at the end of this course, this training of mind control, you are not able to diagnose your patients at a distance without seeing them or talking to them and be correcting your diagnosis, we'll refund your money. You can imagine their awareness. What has he been talking about? And they look around and there's some graduate medical doctors, see what kind of an expression they get from them. Very passive. We've trained thousands of doctors, medical doctors now, all over the world, and not a single one has asked for his money back. Now, coming to Puerto Rico, I had this experience last time I was there in Mayagüez, that's the name of the city. I can even pronounce it. Mayagüez, I think it is, Puerto Rico. A doctor by the name of Lugo. And he calls me and he says he wants to invite me to go to dinner. So after dinner, he says, you know, Mr. Silva, you don't know what you've done in my life. I'm a surgeon, you know. He says, yes, doctor, what do you mean? Well, at first, you know, when doing exploratory surgery, I was always hopeful that we didn't have to go twice into this individual. First to find out what's wrong, and if we're not prepared with the proper equipment, then we need to close them up and come back later on and do it all over again. That's exploratory surgery, find out what's wrong. And since we know what we're going to find, we may not be prepared for it. But since this training, I do a case reading, they call it case reading, when going to the level and analyze that patient at a distance and see what's wrong with him. Once they find out what's wrong, he's prepared for it. I haven't missed a single one to date, Mr. Silva. and exploratory surgery. I'm so convinced of this that I even use it on conventional surgery, because sometimes we find complications. And whenever I detect a complication with my mind, I'm prepared for it, and by gosh, I'm correct again. It's such a beautiful, wonderful thing. He says, now the only problem I'm creating around the hospital is that nurses are saying that Dr. Lugo is always very tired. He takes a nap before each surgery. I don't want to tell them I'll go to my lab to analyze the patient with my mind, you see. Because if I tell them, they're going to think I'm a witch doctor. I'm going to run me out of the hospital. One of the most important, I think, and it's a very serious area, because people are so biased in so many ways because of wrong previous programming in their lives and their ancestry and so on, is in religion. See, religion is for the mind, not for the body. And we're experts in the mind, in the functioning of the mind. So this is the ideal thing, to be able to know how to seek help from higher levels of intelligence. People call it God. But we really don't know what we're talking about when we say God. We know what we mean. Is there an entity that looks over every one of us, every second of the day? Almost 5 billion of us on this planet. What about other planets? Maybe in the same solar system, or maybe in other solar systems, or maybe in some other part of our galaxy, or another galaxy which there are billions of them. How can then one single entity take care of all of this? It could be a system, hierarchy of intelligences in other dimensions, governed by the supreme intelligence, and all the whole system is called God. So we seek God at any level of intelligence that we can get help to solve our problems. But we need to do it subjectively, because God is invisible. There's a special way of doing it, like finding the right formula, the correct formula, and learn to use the correct formula correctly. There is a way for everything. Everything is scientific. Everything is figured mathematically in this universe. There's no mistaking about creation. I mean, to the smallest detail, mathematically arranged or created. So we need to know exactly in what position, at what dimension of mind, and how to ask higher intelligences in the subjective spiritual dimension, the Word of God, the dimension where God exists, to help us whenever we have a problem that we're not able to solve ourselves. And only then do we bother these gods. Because actually, we think that we have been created at this plane of existence to take care of creation at our level. We're supposed to convert this planet into a paradise. We were sent to work. We were not sent to enjoy ourselves. We did not choose to come. We were sent. You don't remember having been asked, do you want to go to planet Earth? You know, all of a sudden you're here. So whoever did it can sure do it, has the power to do so. So you're here now, you want to know, what am I here for? And you better get to know what you're here for and be on the job to be able to do the right thing that's expected of you. But what happens when God, let's say God, that's the intelligent dimension or hierarchy of intelligences, has assigned us to be on this planet to convert the planet into a paradise? Now, as soon as we get here, we're supposed to take care of creation at our level, at our plane of existence. This God or hierarchy of intelligence takes care of the rest of the universe. See? There's billions of galaxies, billions of solar systems, and so on. But here we're responsible for this small grain of sand, let's say. But as soon as we get here, instead of us doing the work, we will get in trouble. God, please help my mother. God, please help my business. God, please. We put God to work all over the place. We were created to do the work ourselves. God, don't bother. I'll do it myself, so I'm here. I'll take care of this business. I'll take care of that problem over there. This is what we're here for. Success means being in harmony, in attunement, in phase with everything, moving in the right step, in the right direction with everything that's evolving. Because if not, we'd be causing friction if we get out of step or move in the opposite direction. So this is the same as having harmony. Is like saying love. Love is the same thing. Love is everything moving in the proper direction at the proper time and not causing problems on the way. So that would be success, when you're in in good thought, in good placement, where when you're in a good agreement with everything around you and everybody with you. Now that's success. If you create problems, create enemies, you're not successful. You're supposed to create friends. And to create friends, you must help them in many times to solve their own problems. And when you are capable, as a clairvoyant, to help other people, you gain by helping others gain. Not that you're going to gain at somebody else's losses. And that's what harmony means. That's what success means. Do not create problems. Don't hurt anybody. Do not cause suffering. Alleviate suffering. Correct all problems.
In this new book, Creative Coincidences, Jose Silva, founder of the Silva Mind Control Method, reveals how you can start influencing the coincidences in your life. It's available from booksellers worldwide. So get your copy today and get started tonight to more success in your personal and business life.